Jason Evans is founder of Factor VIII, a non-profit organisation which represents the victims and families impacted by the Contaminated Blood Scandal. Thank you for coming on, Jason. In the description then of what it means by those who are affected by the blood scandal, how would you say it is fair that the siblings of those who were infected should also receive compensation too?
Well, when it comes to siblings, many of them had to grow up in the shadow of, for example, AIDS. They dealt with the same stigma of being attached to that family, having graffiti over the house, being bullied at school. I mean, the list really goes on. But I think listening to the conversation there, I think there's a number of points I would make. First of all, I don't think there's any reason why this money has to come from the NHS. Interim payments were made to those infected last year, and that money did not come from the NHS any more than it could come from HS2 or Trident missiles or what have you. And another point I would make is I do have somewhat of a solution for the government if they wish to save some money on this. And it's something that already happened in Japan in the 1990s, where the Japanese government compensated the victims and families there. And the government actually made the manufacturers of the infected Factor VIII blood products tough up 50% of the compensation bill. And so why that shouldn't be used as an excuse to delay compensation, because time without compensation causes harm, as the Minister and Sir Brian, the chair of the inquiry, have said, they could easily claw back that money from the manufacturers through legislation. And these are big companies like Bayer, like Revlon Healthcare. They have billions at their disposal. So that is a possible solution should the government wish to go down that
That's
route.
Very interesting. That's very interesting. Have you had discussions with ministers about doing that?
We actually find it very difficult to have communication with the relevant ministers, to be honest with you. And Andy Burnham, when he gave evidence to the Infected Blood Inquiry, he said that the reason why this had been covered up for decades was the fear in Whitehall of the financial exposure because of the wrongs that had been done, because of the liability. Jeremy Hunt agreed much the same. And so I think as a society, we have to say, look, we can't have a situation where if wrong has been done, if there has been negligence, but we decide it's too much money, that we just cover it up. And that cannot be the case. The cost will be high, but that's because people have lost so much. They've lost their homes, their careers, their education, their children.
You've lost family members in this.
Yes, so my own father was infected with hepatitis C and HIV through Factor VIII blood products. He died when I was 4 years old in 1993. My uncle was also infected and died 3 years after my dad. And so, my own family was impacted massively. And I'm among those people who have never received any form of redress or apology or anything for what's happened. And I would also say that the Republic of Ireland compensated people well over a decade ago at this point with a independent body where people's claims, it's similar, not exactly the same, but similar to what's been recommended to happen here. And so you have to think, if Japan have compensated people, but the Republic of Ireland is not too far away, and that was done quite a long time ago.
Really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed for coming on. Jason Evans, founder of Factor VIII, a non-profit organisation representing the victims and families impacted by the Contaminated Blood Scandal.